Ah, it's good to be back. I had a couple of days off, considering some options as to where to go. Talking to some friends. Oh, and it looks like we're getting a bit jammed up again. Just got to give it a few minutes before it figures out what it's doing. But yeah, like, we have built up a really, really good base here. Like, and we've really pushed it quite well. I mean, game's struggling a little bit. Like, it's a very functional, good base with lots of resources, materials, and functionality. We had a lot of fun, made some good friends on the way. Actually made the friends through people watching the stream, so they joined in on the fun. It's always good to, like, yeah, meet new people and whatnot, even if they are on the other side of the planet. There was a few things that happened in the game that really didn't like, they were like, I was expecting a bit more hostility and stuff like that as well. But that being said, like, we did the best that we could to avoid the hostilities. Dex's craziness. Dex learned a lot of interesting things about the game and also learned how to play it, like, and actually started to develop a little bit of a keen interest on it, which he was really struggling with when he first bought it. But after mucking around with it, yeah, he found his creative streak and found out how to actually let it shine in the game, and came out with his rocket car and that crazy F15 looking like thing. Like, from a distance, yeah, it sort of does. Like, it's very blocky, but it's cool nonetheless. Like, came out with a lot of interesting solutions to a lot of problems that we didn't even know that we were gonna have. It had a lot of pilot error as well, like, played a significant part in our the decision making and whatnot. Also, yeah, this was a bit of a disappointment. Like, how far I got into this, like, with the build, like, straight off the bat, it just wasn't seeming like it was gonna work. And even now, it's going to be a struggle to try and figure out how to get it to where I want it to be, or how it was, bring it back to its former glory, so to say. Because, yeah, bouncing my head off of the PCU limit here, like, if we have a look, like, we could probably finish off something good here, but we're going to be left with very little else to do. So we're going to have a very capable ship. One of the suggestions was, like, that I suggested to Dex, and also Marty suggested, is like, just give this ship to Dex. Dex doesn't really seem to be into it, so, but it's a way of keeping this ship, which took an eternity to build as well. Like, there was a lot of bugs in it, and I think there's still 2 missing blocks. This is a good ship, and I don't, like, put a lot of effort into making this thing and didn't really want to pull the pin on it. But it served us well. Like, it does seem a little bit fragile, and the Spanish in it did make it very difficult, and I'm running out of hydrogen. But this was, like, not knocking the server in any way. It was exactly what I was looking for in a playthrough. It was 100% vanilla. All things standard. And it goes to show that the base game in itself is a brilliant game. That was kind of the point of what I was going through, and in a lot of ways, it's the best way that, or the way that I'd recommend anybody first pick up the game, because there's no mods, there's no alterations, everything is 100% as it's supposed to be, and it does work pretty good as it is now. As far as like, it will run a lot faster because there's no mods you've got to load in, and there's no server issues. It's a keen server, which makes it very reliable. One of the other things I think is a bit of a limitation is there's only 16 players on it. I'd say it's been done for stability reasons. Like, that would make the most sense to me. and also to keep the cost down and make it viable for as long as possible. So, you know, I can't knock it in any way. It's just I think we may have outgrown this particular server as far as where we can go and where we can take the channel. So after talking to the guys and considering some options, like and also there's a lot of mods we can explore now as well if we were to have a look at playing on a modded server. So we started to explore some and dip our feet in the water on some servers on like the other side of the world, in fact. And the biggest challenge with that has been lag issues, but it is playable. And I think that, yeah, we could have a lot of interesting adventures there. Like Marty's ship here, it's just starting up. But yeah, like one of the options that we had for what to do with the base was fill it full of nukes and everybody press a button and we just watch it explode. They give it a send-off, Viking funeral style. It does seem like a bit of a waste. Another option that we had was maybe a starter out of faction or something, or a bunch of new guys or something like that. If they want to have a go at it, perhaps just let us know. See what you think. Like, and you know, it'll give them a real leg up in the game because there's a lot of stuff set up and laid out in a way that functions mostly well. I mean, there is still a little bit glitchy and buggy and stuff like that, which we seem to have been fighting with like quite significantly through a lot of the process. But at the same time, like the concept would be you know, a head start in base design in a really sort of thrown together fashion. Like, even though it was thrown together, it still was quite well thought out by Marty, in my opinion. Like, aesthetic wise as well as, you know, functionality. You know, we've got our section over here for our hydrogen tanks and gas production and all that sort of stuff. All the O2H2s down there. Like the drill setup, as much as it was supposed to only be a temporary, and we've got the storage. If you sneak around the back through this bit here, everything's all hidden away, so you've got your container storage back here. Although this is not that hidden away, we've got our temporary stress reliever, like for when cold was getting a little bit too full on and you needed to take your rage out without killing the kid. That was the way to go. But yeah, if anybody has any suggestions as to the best way to send the base on to either a new home or give it its final send off, I'm more than open to suggestions. I think I might give it a few days, see if anybody who has watched or is interested in watching to respond. If you're interested in taking the base over, we're more than happy to sign you over or sign over all the grids to you, and you can do with it what you want. And that way, yeah, if you are keen on the game and all that sort of stuff, but you are struggling with getting started and whatnot, I mean, something that would be like the other thing that we were going to do or considering doing, because we're not going to be coming back here for a while, is just donating all the PCU to you guys as well. So pretty much sign the faction over. You guys can keep all the blocks in the names of the players who built them, and yeah, like it's up to you guys where you would want to take it if you wanted to take on the base. Everything is still functional, so, but otherwise, yeah, it's pretty much see where the series now, probably start up a new series and do a new like scratch start on a different server with some mods, much higher PCU limits, and a lot more interesting potential for it, a lot more players on the server, and a much bigger server. Like the one that we've been looking at is huge. Unfortunately, like from Marty's and my standpoint, it is in the United States. So that means that, yeah, lag is a little bit of an issue for us with that. So, and it's starting to fog up, so I can't see squat. But, I mean, we don't just have the base down here on the ground either. We also have the space base, which, you know, we were sort of in the process of setting up the logistics between like getting materials down to Earth or Earth-like world and having some fun down here. So, I mean, up there. So, let's check it out. We should have enough fuel to get to space from here. See if I can actually see the ship. 7. Whoops. Took out the side of my ship there. Oh, that's not ideal. Yeah, insane. I'm going to go and give it to someone else. I then go and crash it because of fog. How good am I? Like, obviously being sarcastic. Staying true. Okay, let's put it back down and weld that shit up. But yeah, I'm going to try and make the future stream a bit more professional, a bit more, like, radio friendly. I'm going to try and bring the episode lengths down as well. I'm going to break it up into... just hit it again. This is why poor visibility causes significant incidents. Let's see if we can put it down and park it so that way we're not going to fall out of the sky just at random. There we go. Put it down and we'll weld it up. Can we do this? Oh, we've got all those drills on the front. We're going to have to lob them off. Which way is the front? Over there. So, yeah, bust out the grinder. Seem to have developed a stability issue with that crash. Pull the piston back in, which is probably not working because whoa, lag spike there. That's not broken. That is broken. Construction components. Bloody weather interfering with my farewell to the space. Well, more to the point, the visit to the space base. So, yeah, it's been a while since I've been up there as well. So now we can pull that in, and hopefully we'll be able to drop that down, park it up, weld up those broken engines. It's still turned into a repair video. Whoops. Why is it? Oh, well, just put it down gently. Kill the engines. There we go. Jump out of the seat, if it'll let me. And let's have a look and see what the hell I did to it. Oh, made a mess. I'm good at that. So, we knocked off, we did a little bit of panel damage. Not going to worry about it too much. So yeah, it's a new person's project, I think, if they so choose. yeah, the PCU limit. It's kind of put a limit on how far we can take the game. It has led to, you know, a lot of choices that, you know, we had to make as far as compromises we had to make as far as the builds go and all that sort of stuff. I mean, whenever you're running anything with a limit, you are going to have to compromise, and that was part of the challenge, which I thoroughly enjoyed. But yeah, it's getting to the point where it's like, well, I really don't know where to take it now, because, you know, the direction of, you know, Marty suggesting, oh yeah, build up that ship that you had on the other server, you know, which was on a almost an identical server to this one. It's like, yep, that's a great idea, we should do that, so on and so forth. And then, yeah, unfortunately, yeah, just kept hitting the wall on the PCU because they've got a lot of PCU invested in the base. The PCU, in case you haven't heard me talk about it earlier on, is the performance cost units, which is all the things that take up server resources and whatnot. So the limits are there to obviously share out the server resources to all the players and whatnot, it seems. So, and yeah, they put the limits in place because of server limitations. So anyway, I'm going to cycle all the engines to where are all the thrusters? The group hydro, it sounds like that'd be it. So anyway, we'll try again, try to get to space again, this time without breaking anything. But yeah, not like, even if I was to finish that ship, we're going to have very limited left to work with, so, and that kind of dampens the creativity a little bit. Like, you know, the challenge was how to overcome the obstacles on this particular server in the very base game. And that is a pretty good base, like as far as that sort of stuff goes. And still smoking somewhere, something's buggered, but not to worry. We still seem to be all functional. We're missing a thruster, but seem to be flying. And I don't think I'm going to run through and fix this. Because, yeah, like, leave that to the whoops, gone the wrong way. Leave this as a decision for later as to what the future of this ship and all the others is going to be, or the base itself. But yeah, still worth checking out the space base, see everything that we had done with that. It's been thoroughly entertaining. I had a lot of fun. I mean, the start on Pertam itself, that was an incredibly challenging start with no jetpack. I don't think there is, I mean, the advantage of doing the no jetpack start, like, because I had very limited fuel, like no hydrogen, for example. Yeah, the first time you do something like that, it makes you reconsider all your choices about block placement and how to actually functionally build anything. It is a real struggle to try and get around and build if you're used to using the jetpack. So, and that was something else I also wanted to show. Is like, that was a massive obstacle to overcome initially in the game. You know, the struggle to find ice on a desert planet. Also one with pretty hostile weather, like even in like the server setting is for safe for the environment hostility, and yet we still got annihilated quite a few times by the lightning and had to come up with certain contingencies. And then, yeah, once we managed to get it off the ground and get it into, well, you know, we crashed it a couple of times trying to get it to fly on the ground. And by the time we got all the thrusters on it to make it flyable, we stumbled across two relatively good ice sources on the ground, which we used only one of. So that like was a massive hurdle that we overcame with that. So And then after that, it was off to space, and yeah, everything was going beautifully. And then all of a sudden, like, there's a massive explosion. Half my ship's gone. I survived it, but yeah, very nearly didn't. That was very nearly a full restart there, because my survival kit nearly didn't, or there wasn't much left of it. And that was yeah, another thing that happens in the game. And then there was, yeah, like quite a few significant crashes or lapses of attention and all sorts of other stuff. And yet we still managed to get it back up to, you know, a good level of production and stuff. And we've got 2 bases built, lots of ships. And we had quite a few interesting adventures and whatnot. Did a little bit of trading with the economy and stuff. We didn't do a huge amount. But we still made, what was it? I think it was 1.8 million space bucks, which is negligible in the game. Like, if you go at it for a while, I mean, you can take this particular run at it like quite a long way. But you do have to be very, very mindful of the PCU cost. And I haven't ever run an Earth base like that before, and it was an interesting challenge and turned out to be a lot of fun. Like Marty's suggestion of doing it, I mean, changed my mind a bunch of times about the direction that we were going to take, and that was also part of the fun, just to let it go wherever it was going to go. And yeah, we had an absolute ball with it. And yeah, when the other guys joined in as well, like when B-Dub and Cold War Kiwi and I think a couple of others joined up. There was Dexter 66 and someone else as well, like, jumped in and had a good go at it, and everybody brought their own style and flavour to it. They were fun, some challenging, but definitely entertaining. Like the Cold War Kiwi kid, he was thoroughly entertaining, as much as at times a little bit frustrating. He presented a lot of interesting challenges, which go to show the difference between leadership in a team and stuff like that, and also roles in teams. Had a lot of interesting discussions about that as well, like you know, and how real world experiences and life experiences influence the way you play the game. Like when you're a young bloke, you know, headstrong and gung-ho and all the rest of that sort of stuff, compared to having, you know, 20 years of working in factories under your belt and a lot of experience dealing with people. Sometimes there's a lot of short tempers as a result of that as well, which is, from my point of view, I find thoroughly entertaining, because ultimately this is a game. Nobody really got hurt in real life, you know, but it makes for an entertaining set of circumstances. Seeing it, like hearing the kid getting chased around the base after he ground Marty out of a seat whilst Marty was trying to do some inventory management, I found thoroughly entertaining. Because, yeah, unfortunately we can't run any scripts on this server, so all the inventory management has to be done manually. So Marty was sitting there cleaning up a bit and stuff like that, and the kid comes and grinds him out of his seat, and Marty went mental. It was funny. He lived up to his name, Mad Marty. He goes, "Where's my gun?" Runs around, has an absolute stress reliever there. That's when I had to go and point out to Marty that I had to go and build a dummy to go and do a little bit of stress relief there. So it's like, oh, you put up a target dummy. It's like, yeah, I did that a few days ago, man. Like, it had to be done. Otherwise it's going to shoot the kid. He goes, oh, don't worry, I'm going after him. He'll learn. But it's part of the fun of the game. Kiwi, if you're watching or listening or whatever, we had an absolute ball with you, man. We haven't seen you for a little while, so that was funny what you did with the turrets. Nearly there. Does take a little bit of time to get there. But yeah, looking forward to new challenges, obstacles, larger player bases, so to say, with the bigger servers and all that sort of stuff. It's really going to be interesting to see how that goes as far as the PvP sort of stuff goes. And see if we can put ourselves in a little bit more challenging situations, like on open servers. Because they are a lot of fun. Like, it's a good way to meet people and stuff like that and chat. Yeah, there are a lot of people that aren't necessarily people that you'd want to talk to, but there are a lot of people that, you know, we've met along the way that have been fun to play with and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, there's a great community out here in Space Engineers. But it is a bit difficult to explore like the potential of that community with only 16 players on the server itself. So here's our space base. I don't think I've been up here since Dub started doing a lot of building on it. But yeah, like Dub was really starting to feel the challenge of the PCU limit as well. Like it's like every second sentence was, yep, can you guys come over here and lay these blocks down because we need to make sure we share the PCU cost. It's like, it gets really, really hard. And it's also really difficult to delegate like roles to faction members and stuff when you've only got a really small server size as well, like 16 players. So I mean, it can be done. I've done it before and it's been a lot of fun. But yeah, like I was saying, I think we've outgrown it a little bit. It's time for bigger and tougher challenges. But yeah, you can see where this is potentially going to go. Like, it's a lot of, like, an interesting look as to what he's going for here. He had a lot of ideas about having, like, a nice view, like, straight out the windows there from the cryopod of, like, the Earthlight world and the ship's docked and stuff like that. And this is a fully functioning base. The refinery, assemblers, and whatnot. I wonder if it's out of fuel though. Let's check the uranium. So yeah, we're going to maybe give it a couple of days, listen to some responses and see what people think and see whether or not they want to take it on or whether or not we should, yeah, give it the old Space Engineers Viking style funeral. So I wonder if that refinery, yeah, the refinery's on. I wonder what's going on. Because nothing seems to be refining. Oh, because we're full of cobalt? No. Should probably be refining uranium. Actually, let's have a look and see what the uranium status is. Oops. Oh, we still got power in there. We've got stacks of ore, so easily be going for a few days yet. So I think I might, yeah, just a short update video on where we're thinking about taking this in the future. It's looking like we might end the season, so like, or end this playthrough and call it the end of the season. Because yeah, we're sort of, I've done, this is my second playthrough on a Keen server like this. This one videoed, the other one was sort of like a trial run and started up a faction that proved to be quite popular briefly. But yeah, once I start hitting that PCU wall, really struggle with what direction to take, because it's like, well, I can just go and sit there and dig holes, but that's not really going to make much for interesting content. But there is definitely a lot of other potential options available if we broaden our horizons and start dipping our feet into the the wider world of like cluster servers and whatnot. Definitely a lot more challenges with playing against human opponents. Like the Keen AU1 server, That was a very busy server and spent quite a bit of time there, and there was quite a bit of PvP going on there, which I found thoroughly entertaining. So I think Marty and I are going to go looking for that, and also try to survive perhaps on a PvP world as a start, with mods and tiered weapons and components and all sorts of cool stuff like that. So, which adds a whole new dimension to the game. So, it's also an option to explore for like new players. It's like, well, yeah, okay, you might be finished with the game, but that doesn't mean that the game's necessarily finished. Like, you might be finished with the base game. There's still like a million more things you could do with it, and a million different combinations of things, like, and also some of the features that we've been whinging about not having, such as build vision. It's a great mod. Like, it makes the game a lot easier to use, a lot more functional. You can get more information out of like your components and stuff like that on the fly. Scripts are also something that we've on the server that we've been looking at, we've been having a little bit of trouble trying to figure out how to get the scripts to work. So there's going to be a little bit of a learning experience there, like for me. Like, every time you get on a new server that's not all bog stock, you're going to have to learn how that server works and how or their rules and all the rest of that sort of business, and how it all plays in together. That should be fun. Something else that I'm going to start trying to work on my more cinematic views and all that sort of cool stuff, and start to get the emotes going and all that sort of business, even though they don't seem to be working at the moment. Struggling. Oh, there we go. Now I don't know what's going on, but anyway, try to improve the quality of the videos, and yeah, just try to put out better stuff for anybody watching, whether it be for getting tutorial stuff or something that's a bit shorter in length, like breaking it down into hour-long chunks before I reset the stream each time. So I'm still gonna pump out a lot of videos and all that sort of stuff. Like, I've blasted all of this stuff out, this entire series, in a relatively short time, just one after the other, but they are really long to sit through and stuff like that. So I'm going to try to make it into a more palatable format as well, and work on also not making silly mistakes with running all the streaming stuff. So, like, not having the first hour of the video blacked out until, like, my friend in Russia over there let me know that my screen was blacked out, or streaming for an hour with the audio mic'd until Mad Marty let me know, because he was listening to it at work and goes, hang on, I can't hear what Postal's on about. So, all those sorts of silly things. I'm going to try to put steps in place to make sure that doesn't happen, because the way I work better is just do it all live. Also try to cut down on some of the foul language. Like, that's going to be a challenge. Have to change the way I talk, but make it so that way it's not necessarily as offensive to ears around, but give it a good crack. I mean, it is part of the commonly spoken language over here, so it is difficult, but at the same time, to progress the channel, it is something that probably needs to be addressed. It is a bit of a struggle for me, because I don't really think about what I'm saying when I say it, so you're kind of hearing my thought process a lot of the time as I'm running through. But yeah, like, if you do have any suggestions or feedback, please let me know in the chat. Like, if you're watching this later on, like, at the moment, like, there's not a lot of traffic on it, so if you do send me feedback or what have you, I'll have a look, and I'll respond if I can. I'm definitely interested in hearing, like, positive or constructive criticism, how I could do things better, or what you would like to see if you are watching this at any stage. And let me know what sort of content would be suitable for you or appealing to you. What do you want to know? What would you like me to show you? because that's part of the fun of it from my point of view is yeah, I explore new ideas and stuff like that. It's like, see if you can do this, see if you can do that, and it's like, well, that sounds really hard to do, but let's have a go at it. And yeah, we've had a pretty good run like through with this, running through ideas and whatnot. But yeah, that was the station as well that goes along with the base down below. It would have been interesting to see how the parachute drops would have worked, but yeah, unfortunately I blew up the drop pod that Dub made that time, so that didn't work out the best. But yeah, sort of running out of things to say about it. Like, and I do feel bad because we didn't quite get everything finished that we sort of wanted to, but at the same time, it's like, how much do we really have to struggle and fight with the PCU limits? Like, this being the second time around getting it built right up. This is not even as built up as we had it last time before it got annihilated. But, you know, when you start to hit walls like that, maybe it's time to explore other options and then go and look at the modded stuff and see how that goes. You know, I know people that have hung around on servers like this for a very long time. There's a lot of good guys out there I've spoken to that have done stuff like that. They help out other players and stuff. There's a lot of fun in that. Unfortunately, with this server being a little bit quiet, yeah, we haven't done as many runs out to go and help out players. We only really did one, which was the guys on the other side there, the Wolves faction. Those two guys just bought the game, and I hope you guys are having fun with it. If you are, like, still going at it, like, looks like the base is still up and running, or at least it could potentially be. But yeah, cruising back down. Didn't get to as much of the storytelling as I would have liked to, but it was all off the top of my head, impromptu stuff. I thought that I had fun with some of those stories. Did have a bunch more ideas I might tell later. Let's see if we can fit them into a more appropriate, well, try to tell them more appropriately. And also make them into shorter segments. I'm thinking about turning the Dex's car thing into short segments, and do that as a video series on its own, because there is a lot of content there. But even just the Dex's car build video, we had Dex, Marty and myself, we had an absolute ball building that car with Dex. Just letting him go crazy with it and seeing what he came up with, and every cheesy, absurd idea possible. We had an absolute laugh. And then that car lived up to its expectations. Everything we thought it was going to do, it did in spades. So yeah, there might be other stuff like that in the future as well, like with Dex bringing his craziness to it. That'll always be good for a laugh. But yeah, like turning that car build video, like or like the car build section into a segment. There was a lot of, like, that was pretty much me tutorialing Dex, or at least helping him out a lot with the functionality of the game, trying to get his idea out into the build. Because yeah, it can be a handful trying to navigate your way through all the different features and functions of the game, to actually get an idea to come out. And it does seem to be quite a bit of a skill. It's like I've said many times, I don't know whether or not in this stream, but yeah, you know, this is Minecraft for adults in a lot of ways. A very, very difficult version of it when you really want to get right into it and do some really cool technical builds and stuff like that. I mean, if you really wanted to, I have seen some builds done in creative mode where they've got fully programmable robots and stuff that walk and all sorts of other cool stuff like that. So many cool ideas out there, and a lot of the, like, I'm pretty sure I've said this before, there's a lot of real world applications for that way of thinking with mechatronic engineering and whatnot. And yeah, using C sharp and as a programming language, which is, you know, it's something that's very applicable in the real world, like to apply skills to in a workplace. So, you know, like whether it be in automation or mechanics or programming PLCs or whatever you may do for a job, or if you just are interested in building robots and stuff like that, you know, that'd be pretty cool as well. Unfortunately, you can't do it on this server because scripts are not enabled, but yeah, if you were to have a look around on the Steam Workshop, there is so much stuff available for you to try out, and you know, there's all the people that make those things do it for the love of doing it. All the stuff on the Steam Workshop, or a lot of it, I don't know if there's any paid content on Steam Workshop, but it is all provided as a collaborative effort with the community there. So, you know, people do it for the fun of it and sharing ideas and whatnot. So that's odd. There's a red enemy signal down there. I wonder what that's about. Don't know. It's like insane. There's been no PvP action in the base, and then all of a sudden the base gets raided. That'd be comical. Let's have a look. Got no guns really to speak of, but it's probably broken parts that fell off this ship. Yeah, it looks like it might be. Oh, it's like bits and pieces, like components that are dropped down. But yeah. I mean, it's a short video for me, but it's still a relatively long video. But there's, you know, a lot of stuff to consider about, you know, where to take the future of Space Tool. Turned out to be a lot of fun, and I think it's got a lot of potential as well. There's a lot of things I definitely need to improve, but that's part of the fun of the process as well. It's like see how far I can take it. I like to entertain. I also like to help people out and stuff. Like, you know, I like this game. I've spent a lot of time playing it. I'm not brilliant at it, but at the same time, you know, there's a lot of things that I can help new people with, and I enjoy it. So the more you support the things that you enjoy doing like that, whether it be monetarily through purchasing the game and whatnot, or adding content to the community and providing entertainment or tutorials or any of that sort of stuff, it helps to keep the product alive and, yeah, keep the game alive, going for longer. It'd be epic. There we go, we're all locked up, or docked up. Now we've got it locked, we can kill our engines and park it up. And do we still have one on? I think we've got one that's decided it doesn't want to be a part of the rest of it. And the doors are playing up again. Whoop. Nearly hit the deck. But yeah, before we end things entirely, yeah, like we'll give it a little bit of time and see if we get any responses or any input or anything like that. We just let the base sit here and see what happens. I mean, the base could get raided whilst we're waiting. Like, we're away planning out the next adventures. You never know. That would be an interesting outcome unto itself, because it would have been better if that sort of stuff happened to us whilst we were here trying to deal with it. So, just checking the power in the base. We got quite a lot of uranium there. The base can sit there idling away for quite a long time with what's in there. So yeah, it's looking like it's going to be farewell to the Earth base and the space base. And yeah, this server's been great fun. We've had an absolute ball. Downstairs, and build that pipe to connect up two sides of it. That was, yeah, interesting. I was in the middle of doing that when Kiwi was fucking around upstairs making a mess of things, and it's like, that was funny. Anyway, yeah, these are all the guys that we had so far. Oh, we also had a spare. I think somebody else wanted to, or was talking about jumping in on it, but yeah, I think they were just struggling. I think he was an American kid who was really struggling with dealing with the lag. So, but yeah, there's all the cryopods in the crew, all mighty stylized. Ah, there we go. He's starting up another base with his friend. Thanks, see you cold. I missed that. So is he not in his cryopod? Nope. Oh, we might be handing the keys of the base over to Cold. Let us know, Cold. We'll see how Marty feels about it. That way you can go and break everything. But yeah, no, definitely let us know. Catch up, Cold. And are you doing it on this server as well? Because I haven't seen you on. Actually, have a look and see if he's... Is he still in the faction? That was the guy that went... I think I went and ran some stuff out too, but... Show me. Yeah, Silly Gage plays. Yeah, he was one of the other ones, and Crazy played for a little while as well, up on the space base. Ah, Cold jumped out of the faction. Didn't even know. Didn't even say goodbye. He just left us a Dear John note on the wall there. If you're watching this later, Marty, check it out. Turned and burned, man. We had a blast with you, kiddo. But yeah, that's looking like that's, yeah, the end of this video. I don't think I've got much else to say. I'm surprised I didn't notice that earlier. Oh, off in my own little world. Talking about leaving the server and all of that sort of business. I wonder if he is still on the server. He did take himself out of it, so maybe he started up his own faction. Be interesting. Maybe see how he's going in a little while and go and have a look. I think it'll be fun. But anyway, it's always fun to see what other people come up with, different building styles and all sorts of stuff like that. Like yeah, like he has a lot of interesting ideas, like a lot of interesting build ideas, and he like spent a lot of time in creative mode. And you can see where the difference between the creative style and the survival style really shows with that. It's like he made something look very pretty but didn't necessarily work as well. And also with a server like this where you can't change anything and you're working with a lot of serious limitations, it can be a real challenge. And yeah, he had a few piping issues and mechanical problems with it and stuff like that, but ultimately, yeah, you know, in any case, yeah, if you are watching or you have watched, thanks for watching. And yeah, if you have watched any of the other videos, yeah, feedback's always appreciated. Like, mainly because it lets me know what I can do to make it more suitable for you. Whether you want more of the silliness or you want more of the tutorial sort of side of things, or if there's a way I could explain it better, or anything really, just let me know. It's good to chat. And yeah, I think I'll call that a day. Oops, jumped out. So yeah, see you next time. See you in the new one, like when we get up to getting the start on that. So Bye.